JJ here at Once. What you're about to see is some very special content created just for you by the Once family. Art and community are our priorities here at Once. We'd rather be with you in person, but what we can do right now is create virtual experiences for us to all enjoy together. No, it's not the same as being at a live show, but that doesn't mean that it's not a way to enjoy each other's company and entertainment. So, without further ado, a few house notes. The bathrooms are in the back, on the left. No flash photography, please. And as always, no crowd surfing. Enjoy the show.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Yvette.
Hello.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
My name is Gonson. Welcome to Let's Get Critical, the show where we flip the tables a little bit and put the spotlight on people who usually are asking other people about stuff. And I started doing this because I get interviewed a lot, and I have found that the people interviewing me have some fantastic stories to tell. And I want to hear those stories, and I'm really excited to know about your experiences and not maybe you talking about other people's experiences. So I'm excited to meet you, and thanks for being here. You have a lot going on. I know that you're in Somerville right now, is that right?
I'm actually in Medford right now.
Oh,
but
you're in Medford.
yeah, but I raised my children in Somerville.
I saw that.
Yeah. So that's
but you're not from Somerville, you're from Texas.
I'm actually I am a military brat. So I was born in Bermuda and then traveled some, and my family is in Ohio, but my father retired in San Antonio, Texas. So I, in a sense, grew up there.
I get it. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
From Bermuda to Texas. That's going to be, there's something in that.
Well, there is something. And for me, it gave me a chance to be in places with a lot of different people. And so it kind of took me full circle to where we are today and trying to understand this world that we're living in at this moment. And, everyone having their own feelings about what is happening.
Mm-hmm, totally. So can you give me a little bit of an outline of Texas to Somerville, and maybe on the way a little bit of like, when did you start liking to dig into what people were doing, and you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I'm really curious about your process.
So from Texas, I started at the Carver Community Culture Center as a volunteer. And as a volunteer, I started a junior volunteer group, right? And I got married.
Tell me about this. Tell me about this community center. Where is this?
Okay, this community center is in San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. Okay, Carver Community Center in San Antonio, Texas.
In San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
All of these links I have placed on my Facebook page, but they gave me
also drop them in, yeah.
Yes, awesome. But they gave me an opportunity to create a junior volunteer group, right? And at this facility, this building, we used to get artists from all over the world, and Betty Carter, Lester Bowie, Max Roach, all of these individuals were on our stage, but the young kids couldn't come in because they didn't have a guardian or a parent with them. So we established this junior program so that the young kids could be ushers. They were able to meet the meet the artists in the back.
Smart.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And it's a cultural program.
It's all cultural. And
yeah,
it broke my heart that the kids could not come in because they didn't have anybody but their parents at home. So fast forward, I got married, and then I had to uproot and move to Boston. And I landed in Somerville. All
right.
yeah, X was working with the New England Foundation for the Arts. And so that was my introduction to the Somerville area.
Wow.
And then I ended up working at Harvard. And so I've been at Harvard for the last 25 years. So that's been my base. So as I'm working there, I work in the finance office, and I needed some excitement. And I have, you know, I had twins, a boy and a girl twin, and you know, raising kids, you really, it's interesting, right? And so communication was very important. And so I started volunteering at the Somerville Media Center so that I could bring my kids with me, and we could, you know, just kind of learn how to communicate. So it wasn't really about the television shows or all of that. It was more about how can I find something for us to work together collectively and build our way of communicating.
Yeah.
So I had to interview them. And so it just kind of became natural because they don't want me to do it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting route to have gone.
Yeah.
You know, I interview a lot of music journalists, and a lot of times they're like, oh, I was reading Rolling Stone, you know, or what, like, that's just such a cool way. It was almost like it was more of a means to an end, right? Like, you had to make this thing happen, and this was what it was going to take. And it turns out that, you know, you're really good at it, which is cool. Yeah. I know that you have some, you know, some really amazing projects that I know of. I'm guessing that there are more. And you know, you seem to have just such a lot of really cool stuff going on. But one of the things that that I was checking out was Our View.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Okay. So Our View.
Can you talk about it a little? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Our View is one of the television shows that I started on Somerville Media Center, and it focused on the men of color in our communities. And so my goal was to change the perception. You know, there's always a certain type that we see at the desk in front of the television show. So I wanted to put men of color at that desk. Let them be the ones sharing the news to change the perception. And so I had a great opportunity to work with an organization, Fathers in Need, who were part of it, and some other great people from the Boston area who were able to kind of bring that diversity to the show that I want to bring out in Somerville. So it takes a little bit of time sometimes, right? To kind of get people comfortable and out of their norm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Takes possibly, you know, centuries. Hopefully not.
You know what? And that's true. And that's what my goal is to build my replacements, and that my children and anyone else that I come in contact with.
Yeah. I want to say that I do think that we are very fortunate. I you know, we've worked hard for where we're at in Somerville and Cambridge. I feel like that's been you know, like raising your kids in Somerville, I think is a place where you get a lot of, I don't know.
Man, I lived in Davis Square,
right
around from Rosebud Diner. So I used to go see Miss Helen at the liquor store. I would go visit Uncle Joe if you ever went into the downtown Wine and Spirits. So that was when I was pregnant. I would waddle home. I'd hang out with him. He'd give me a root beer soda. Then I'd waddle over to Rosebud Diner, and they would fix my food and then pass it to me over the fence because I lived right behind Rosebud Diner. So I was so
much
fortunate.
Community. So much community. It's just great community. It's a really amazing. I grew up in Cambridge, and so much amazing culture and community. I just feel like we're so fortunate and such an opportunity for kids, you know, to be then what you were saying, where you say, you know, you are cultivating, I guess,
building
the future.
My replacements, right?
I like how you said that better than how I'm saying it. You're building your replacement, and I think that's, you know, as a Cambridge kid, as a feminist, as, you know, somebody that feels strongly about equality issues, I'm very happy with how my children were spoken to in Somerville and Cambridge and where they are now. I think these are, got good schools. What's that?
I just said, okay.
Oh.
So you're happy with the way they were spoken to, but don't let me flip the seat on you.
Oh, no. What I'm saying when you're talking about that. So what I'm specifically thinking about is that my son is a feminist.
Okay.
And I think that this is something that we are in a place where we are fortunate to be able to bring up the following generation.
Yeah.
We are supported by our community, by our schools. And I feel that we're fortunate in that because we are helping to bring in voices for the next generation. I'm thinking a lot about elections.
Yes, yes. But we have to, I'm sorry, we also have to be mindful of our kids.
Complacency.
And just making sure they have the right kind of environment.
Yeah.
That's very hard for them. It's very hard. And, it may be easy and that could be because of how you are. How you are, how you open up, how you allow your child to be open and honest with you. Because every family is not the same and they live next door to us. So, it's just a really hard place sometimes. Sure.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is hard. It is hard. We could have, maybe offline, we'll talk about children and child rearing.
Yes.
That's a whole other thing from what I want to talk about, which is these projects that you are so important. You're doing these amazing things. So you sent me some notes.
Yes.
And I also had in my notes the Somerville line. And I was hoping that you could tell me more about Somerville line.
Okay, the Somerville line. Oh, my goodness. Oh,
you're very popular.
I know. I mean, it's the middle of hip hop festival. Just 1 second. Sorry.
Sure. But we get to see the we're getting a little behind the scenes here of the hip hop festival.
Oh my
It's a little behind the scenes. So I'm dying to talk about the hip hop festival. Can we just talk about the hip hop festival?
Oh, okay. But
I want to know about Somerville line. You have so many. I only have like this limited amount of time with you, and I want to talk about so many things.
Okay.
Somerville line.
Just
a picture.
I'm gonna post it all on Facebook and everything. But
I love it.
With the Somerville line, that was just the starting point of it all, where at Somerville Media Center, after being there a couple of years, bam, I was able to kind of figure out how to create my own show. And I really appreciate the staff for everything they did, just to give me that opportunity and that guidance. And that kicked off the Somerville line. And next thing I know, we were doing the Evolution of Hip Hop Festival. And I want to give a great shout out to the Somerville Arts Council and, Nina and that whole crew that helped me, because at first it was a thought, and that was created with Mike Curtis, who's a firefighter in Somerville. And so Mike and I were sitting there talking about, we want to make sure to have an event for our kids where they can hear the hip hop music that's not being played on the radio station. So what we did is we went on and we started the Hip Hop Festival in Somerville.
And what year was that?
So we're in our 6th year. So that was 5 years ago. So,
you must have learned so much in that time.
I did. And Greg and his crew have trained our new person. She's on the line, I think, and they did a fantastic job on getting her ready to kind of help me out. But I was so surprised at how comfortable I was at working on the festival. But I tell you, with the COVID-19, it just kind of threw everything in a loop. And I was really hoping that I was going to be able to host the festival in person some way, but that didn't happen. So that's why we're going virtual.
Yeah, sure. Hey, I can relate.
Yeah, exactly.
I can relate. I'm sure you know, I have a venue, and this has been the way that I've been able to continue to support local artists and to be in touch with our community, because we're very lonely without each other.
Right.
As you know, all of, and when I say we, I mean pretty much
Oh
everyone in the
gosh.
world is feeling pretty lonely right now.
Oh yes.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's something. I uh, I want to go back though to Somerville Line.
Okay.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what you've got going on there, and you know, some of your guests?
Oh man, the Somerville Line. So that show, uh, the premise of the show is just to bring individuals on that feel comfortable about talking about what motivates them in life or what inspires them in life, right? And so with that, I I felt very comfortable about bringing in guests that were comfortable in front of the camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by
Yeah,
them being comfortable in front of the camera, they were able to just kind of talk about and tell their story.
yeah,
And that was the purpose of the Somerville Line, because everybody can learn from a story, right?
no question,
Everybody
absolutely.
can learn from a story.
It's how people learned for a long, long time.
And so guests,
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh, guests have come from Cambridge. I don't know if you know Holyoke, where IG's is located. Do you know where IG's is
Yeah.
located in the
Yeah.
Holyoke building?
Yeah.
So it's an African-American owned establishment. Steve Welch owns the establishment. It used to be inside of the Holyoke building.
Right.
And so they have great food, great product, and they agreed to be my first guest. So it
Oh,
was
cool.
Steve, his brother David, and it was also a designer out of Newton. And it kind of just gave me a chance to say, okay, we've done the first show. And so guests just come from all walks of life. We've had, I'm sorry if I'm going blank, but
It
it's
happens.
been,
It's okay.
right? It's just been guests that have been from all over.
Yeah.
But one of the most important pieces that have come out of it is a relationship I have with this young lady. Her name is Lisa Ward, and she has sickle cell. She's 52, and she has gone through so much. And for a couple of years, we were able to host a TV show where she would come in, bring in guests. We would talk about individuals that were on kidney dialysis. And, you know, some of them were doing their dialysis treatments at home. We talked about the whole iron overload. We talked about how there's not a lot of help for people that are on, that have sickle cell. And so for me, that was very heartwarming to be able to work with her. And, you know, when this COVID-19 happened, she ended up in the hospital. She had a couple of heart attacks, and her kidneys failed. Luckily, she's back at home right now, and she's ready to get back at it. So, you know,
Wow.
that
Yeah.
drives me. That drives me.
Empowering. Yeah.
And
So it's interesting because you're talking about what drives them, and then this drives you. And this is, you know, because I was going to say, what drives you? Because you're talking to them about that. And that was amazing, because it's like you answered the question before I got to answer.
oh
Yeah.
my goodness, what
That was
drives us?
cool.
Yes.
What drives you? Because
What-
you talked about that. You were like, this is the show where I talk to people about what inspires them, what drives them. And you're like, that's incredible that this is giving this to you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Another one of the great shows another one of the shows was this gentleman, his name is Darrell Jones. He
Mhm.
was incarcerated for 32 plus years.
Wow.
And then he was finally released. And when he was released, you know, he still had to go through the final stage. And then last June, he was finally exonerated from the show, from that sentence. But we were able to create a show where we talked about a conversation about innocence. But what we tried to do is bring to the forefront of these things that do happen within our systems, and he is still actively involved with doing things in the community. So,
did you want to share a screen? Is there something you wanted to show?
no, I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay. It's
So
okay.
I know.
I'm excited about you.
Go ahead.
No, if you wanted to share something, I would. That's But I didn't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. I will post them. I mean, I have a ton of shows for that, but I have to say one of the hardest parts is not having interns to help you. Especially when you have. Especially when you have a great show, and then you don't have anybody to kind of help you put those products on online.
Yeah, sure.
So, I'm sorry. I'm just.
So anybody who's listening right now who wants to volunteer to help you, get in touch with us, and we'll put you in touch with Yvette so that because I have a feeling you have a lot to teach people. You have a lot you could offer interns in return. So hopefully someone will see this and be like, I want to intern for you.
Well, I tell you, we probably won't get to it today, but that's one of the things that I like to do is I've been, Will Imba and Andre Green and the mayor and Ben from the Welcome Project, all of them are great. The Justa Somerville. So when they had the rally in East Somerville, I came out and spoke, but I've been working with some individuals in West Medford, Harvard, to try to create a Somerville Youth Entrepreneurs type of program where we can host that online. Because as I said earlier, it's all about our replacements, right? Building our replacements, making sure that we build their capital and pass it on from ours, right? And so that is our goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heard.
It's a lot of.
Heard. No, I'm just like, put it into words. Do it. It's great. You totally are. Yeah, I love what you're saying, and I feel like there's a very deep mine here. I'm excited that you're going to put all these links up. We will also put them up because I think that I know I want to go watch this stuff. It sounds really. It sounds really powerful. It sounds really powerful.
Thank you.
And it's hard to make, and you're talking about like that it's just you doing all this work. And then there's like, just the editing and the uploading and like the stuff that isn't the powerful work, the mundane work.
Right. And what I used to do, I spent a lot of my time with, trying to show other people. So when we did the Somerville line, I was able to build a crew. We had a great crew. We had a great, a lot of shows that were very informative for our young people.
Yeah.
We had all ages there. And it's just that everybody gets busy, but that's going to be the point of this entrepreneur program. There's some great artists. You have Marcelo, who's over at the high school, and Emily Singer. They're working on great programs to kind of help train our young people. And my kids, my twins are 23.
Wow.
I'm blessed because they both graduated from college. My daughter majored in English. My son majored in political science. And so, they're gone. And so what do I do with this? What do I do with the energy? And I give back. Totally.
We're lucky. I'm glad. I'm glad. That's so cool. And so there was some other projects that I don't like to look away, but I'm going to look down because you did talk about some stuff with What's the Word. And I'd like you to, if you don't mind, if you can give us some of the goods on that.
So
many projects. How do you do this?
I have twins, and I had
they're gone. You're like,
but so the Somerville line I started 5-6 years ago. So that was when they were young, and it gave me that little bit of output. And like I said, it gave them something else too.
Yeah.
So
They were high schoolers.
They were
at
high
that time.
schoolers. So, but then at this time, you know, they can start saying, Mom, I don't really want to go.
Yeah.
So it becomes a
Yeah.
little different. But, you know, as we are parents, we can't forget about ourselves. You know, we have to find a way to kind of keep ourselves active and keep ourselves out of their life and be there as a parent to help them grow, keep our minds open, and be able to help them navigate this world, right? So
Yeah.
it also kept me busy. And from the Somerville line, which was TV, I said, okay, what about radio? People say, oh, you've got this radio voice. I was like, okay, let's try it. And so I had a friend that helped me kind of get my mindset around the radio show. And the premise for the name, What's the Word, is kind of a slogan, a saying. And we just wanted to find out what's going on in your community. And what was great about that, we were on every Saturday from 4 to 6, and it allowed me to bring in different artists, or not artists, but I could train different people to come in and learn how to use the equipment. So I kind of had 4 different DJs that were there, or DJs or hosts, but it brought a different perspective from all these different areas. And sometimes that's what we need. We just kind of need to see something different. And my goal for this year was to start a youth radio, but with COVID, we kind of have to put we had to put that on pause. But I mean, we've brought in just musical artists. We've brought in individuals from the Civil Rights Organization to talk about law, the Census Organization. We've brought in artists from Boston. We did a spiel with Ziggy Marley while we were able to play some of his music. So I was able to take the show and collaborate with Jeff Robinson, you know, at Sally O'Brien's doing an event. I mean, everything did come out perfect, but just the enthusiasm and the thought about what we were trying to do was awesome. So
what did you do at Sally O'Brien's? Because one of the things that I'm interested in is how music interplays with activism, right? So how you're talking about all these these amazing projects and bringing these people in, but did you do was it a music thing at Sally O'Brien's?
Well, actually Jeff Robinson was performing, and he was performing with his reggae group. And so because we were working with Ziggy Marley, and he, not actually him, but his record label group, and what we did is we kind of took our remote equipment, radio equipment, and while they were performing, I went live. And so it happened
that's
like
interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things I like to do. It's like, okay.
So you just said something that I didn't know before. So your radio equipment was remote. You could travel to do these interviews? You weren't necessarily bringing somebody into the bringing everyone into the studio. You were going to them?
Correct. So I did that for my radio show. I actually went, what do we do? We would I would take the equipment, and then, of course we would work with our studio manager at Somerville Media Center, but we were able to schedule things so that I could go remotely. And that was for radio. And I also,
I don't know why I just thought you were in a studio. That's really cool.
Oh, well, I do things in the studio. I do live shows. I do pre-recorded. And I also mentioned I volunteer, and I'm on the board now at the West Medford Community Center. And so that relationship built when their current president happened to come to one of our shows in Somerville. And we had a jam session that I was recording. He liked the energy. So what we did is we took that concept and moved it to West Medford Community Center. But I was doing the shows remotely. So I had my equipment. I was able to work with Somerville Media Center. We scheduled everything, and we went remote on Somerville Media Center and Medford Cable Media.
Whoa. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing radio now?
Well, with COVID,
Yeah.
I've taken a pause. So,
Okay, but you are still doing this festival that you're going virtual with, and this is like a monster project, right? And not only are you working on this huge project, but in addition to that, you've kind of had to take everything that you knew for 6 years and completely change it.
yes.
Okay. Do
Yes.
you mind talking a little bit about
Of course not.
that
So,
project? Yeah.
So this year, well, every year I try to collaborate with an organization, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Someone. And a lot of years I worked with Pretty Poison, who is a producer out of the Boston area. And she's just kind of been, that kind of mentor as far as the music side. And I have collaborated with Oompa, who's an artist. And
Sure.
This year I met this group, Rock Against Racism. And Rock Against Racism, there's a main chapter in the UK, but in Boston, you have this chapter that started about 40 years ago.
I used to go to the protests, the Rock Against Racism.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know it still existed. I'm fascinated right now. It still exists?
yeah. So
Okay. I used to go 40 years ago.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I wasn't here, but
the first one was Rock Against Reagan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Tell me, yeah.
So I always knew from when I started the festivals, I always knew there was some nucleus of this whole hip hop stuff, but I couldn't find it. And somehow I can't remember at this moment, I ended up at their 40th birthday party for Rock Against Racism that happened last year, November 2019, and it was held at the Boston Public Library. So Rebe, Rebe, he was from Honk. He organized Honk with Ken and all of them. So he was part of it because how it started with these two UMass faculty members were given a task to figure out how to bring this rage and put it on the stage, right? And so it started with some type of musical groups, and then it evolved into hip hop. So
it was punk.
It was punk.
I was there. It was punk.
So go ahead, tell me a little bit.
Loud. It was loud, and it was great, and it was not violent. It was a very awesome people coming together on the common and being there, and it was loud. Wow. It was articulating rage. It was loud. It was cool. But that, at the time, that was
it. But the beautiful part of my understanding is how it all merged together. They said never any issues, all types of music on stage, but never any issues.
Right. No, it was great. Yeah, it was a great thing. And at the time, I mean, this is, there was so much fear in what was going on. It's not unlike now. And it was great to have a place to gather for people who felt disenfranchised in so many ways.
Right. Exactly. And
a Republican regime that was really threatening. Yeah.
I'm so thankful that it was started.
Yeah. So this is great. You just totally turned me on. I'm really excited about this.
So I met with them, and I've been working with Pacey Foster.
Oh my God, like one of my best and oldest friends. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
he's great.
So when the phone rang, I was like, okay, I was trying to get to Pacey. I'm on the show. But so we've been kind of talking about this, with Fran and, all of that group. And when COVID hit, everything kind of changed. But here we are. And these last few weeks, we've been able to put it together. And this is what I'll be sharing on tonight. We'll put a post of our agenda, but what we're going to do is Pacey has pulled that stuff out of the archives. And so we're going to take 3 days this week just to show it. We're going to show it. And then on Saturday, we're going to have like a live where we, talk to some of the artists that are going to be in the hip hop festival. And then we're going to play the video again, and then we're going to go into a panel discussion with some of the Rock Against Racism group that were part of the hip hop component, and some other artists.
This is amazing. Wait, and you're coordinating this to be, this is all going to be virtual?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And all right, so I'm sorry I interrupted you because I was just like, oh, that's so cool.
But Somerville Arts Council prepared me for this, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, yeah. I mean, it's not going to be as elaborate as the Fluff Festival, where they were actually doing a lot of their live, you know, their live shows. But just for me, sometimes I don't, you know, that's a lot of nerves. And if I can pre-record, get the show together, then there we are. And we get to insert some of these Zoom talks and then the panel discussion. And for me, that is so important, because that's that beginning piece where our replacements need to see that, right? Everybody really needs to see that piece. And then we kind of move forward. And it's my hope, you know, that I can continue these monthly conversations until next hip hop festival. I would have done it this year, but you know.
I mean,
but
things happened.
Things happened, right? Just months. So, but just really work on creating these dialogues between individuals, because, you know, we think we have these safe spaces, but we really need to have safe spaces where we can talk about things that take us out of our comfort space, right? And we don't have that all the time with a diverse group of people. And yet sometimes you can make groups too diverse, which really don't help, because if it's too diverse, then you may not ask your question because you don't want to be judged by someone else that may be from a different culture. So we really have to kind of look at these things, and I need to be part of that, only because I feel like I have this energy and I have, you know, the drive and the desire to make sure that we do this, because once again, I'm thinking about my replacement.
Yeah. Yeah. No, your drive and your energy are miraculous and important. And I think we all should be grateful for your drive and your energy. It's really cool work you're doing. So we have a little ad for a fundraiser that we do that I'm going to ask Erin to run. It's just a little thing where we talk about, we sell like merchandise.
So we're One Somerville. We have an online store. It's called Shopperville. Get it? It's a pretty cool place. You can find our t-shirts, our bumper stickers, which, by the way, say Once Army, smashing the patriarchy since 2015. So you know you want people to be seeing that. Check out Once Shopperville. You can find the link in all of our socials. Please buy something. It helps us, makes you look cool. You rock.
Hello, this is Tim Hall here, musician, saxophonist, and poet. I'm here at Once and just need to say how important it is to support the local arts and local businesses. Once is such an important venue to the scene of artists and creators. I'm just here to name how dire it is to support the individuals who run and manage the space. They offer so much to artists to develop their brand, to develop their sound, to develop their careers, and just need to name how important it is to support Once and the staff here and everything that they stand for and do for this local scene. Also, they have been nominated for a Boston Music Award for both the venue as well as their live stream. So again, they're doing amazing work. Please go and support. See you soon. Tim Hall, out.
You rock.
It's too wild.
You rock. I love that people are now like collecting t-shirts of businesses that they love and stockpiling the merchandise.
Oh my
Bless them.
Right?
seriously, whatever it takes to do these projects. You know, unfortunately, nobody has a bottomless pocket, including the Somerville Arts Council. And, you
Yes.
know, we don't have any of us the ability to do the kind of outreach that we'd like to be doing. And, you know, the good news is hopefully, I mean, obviously the people who love us are not just going to disappear. They're going to keep loving and, you know, loving what you're doing and supporting what you're doing. You know, happily, there's not like the overhead. So, you know, it's all running on a shoestring, right? All the time.
Exactly.
Wherever you are.
Exactly. Oh, there's Pacey.
Hey, Pacey.
And Ron Newman, thank you to everybody for joining. But yes, working on a shoestring budget, you know, and I'm thankful that every year everybody has been very accommodating and it's been helpful, and we kind of work within that budget. Sometimes we get sponsors.
Sure, sure. But it's amazing like what you're making do right now, because like you were saying, you don't have a fleet of interns, right? Like nobody is rolling in dough at the moment.
Right.
And but it's amazing. I mean, you keep doing it. You know, your drive is remarkable. I want to know a little bit about who is, I mean, I'm sure that you're, you know, it's all on your mind, but who is performing this year and how are these things happening?
Well, so like I was saying, it's not like Fluff, where at the Fluff Festival, they actually had live performances. So we're not doing live performances.
Right.
What I have done is reached out to our community from the shows and the other activities that have done, and asked individuals to submit their videos.
Yeah.
And so normally, you know, it's a whole family-friendly event, but with this being on virtual, we get to half and half, right?
Okay, cool.
Right. And so, and I mean, there's a lot of little words that could be said in a video that would make me move it to a late time movie. So
okay. Oh, that's
right
interesting.
now,
so you're actually going to do like what they used to do on old time TV, where after a certain time it's R-rated.
Well, I'm working with Somerville Media Center to get a slot to run the entire show, maybe for a month or a couple of months, right? Pick a day.
Right on.
Just to run the show. But we're going live on YouTube. Everybody submitting original music.
And what's your channel called on YouTube so that we can tell people?
I'm sorry. Facebook. We're going to go live.
Okay.
On
Facebook Live.
Yes.
And
yes.
this is, and so we find that with what's the word?
With Somerville Arts Council.
Okay.
Right. So with Somerville Arts Council, all of that stuff will probably be up by tomorrow, but
Great.
We'll go live on YouTube, Facebook, for the Zoom session, interviewing some of the artists, for the panel discussion, and then we'll post 2 hours family-friendly music, and then 2 hours after the 10:30 time slot.
Yep. Smart.
It's something different, you know, and that's the whole point. You've got to find a way to be a little creative.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, you're being super creative. I'm so impressed. So talk to me a little bit about some of the people that you're bringing in. Maybe a speaker? You want to tell me about
Well, the primary speaker, you know,
keynote?
Pardon me?
Is there a keynote? Like, is there like a foundation? No.
This year, the foundation is the Rock Against Racism. And so with that, I mean, that applies across the board. And the fact that, where you mentioned earlier, music and politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're right here.
Yeah.
We're right here. And one of the
music and activism.
It's
an amazing voice. You know, music is a remarkable voice for activism. Remarkable. You can really talk to people through music. And
exactly.
Yeah. And you know, it's, I mean, I love that you're putting both on the stage here. And so yeah, so you were going to talk a little bit about some of the people.
Okay, so for the from the Rock Against Racism group, there was like one of the first of the female hip hop groups, the Rappeteers. So we should have a representative from that group on the panel discussion. And the goal about the panel discussion is to talk about the beginning and where we are now, right? Hip hop, the culture, hip hop, the business. And then some of the artists, you know, it's a variety of artists that have been at the hip hop festival in the past. And are we showcasing a particular artist? No, we're showcasing all of these great artists that are right here in our area, right? We may have a couple of that are out of the state, but sometimes these artists that I'm getting ready to showcase on the video, within the video, they don't get an opportunity. You know, nobody's gonna call them for a gig. So I'm hoping with this is a way for them to, you know, get motivated, be involved, see what their hard work has done. It's allowed it to be involved. They were ready to submit their video.
Yep.
And then to be able to collaborate with the Hip Hop Archive is just an amazing end, right? So these artists get to find out what is sitting there, this treasure that's over at UMass. And I mean, working with
in the loving, caring hands of Mr. Foster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a remarkable thing. I've been trying to understand its evolution for decades, and now I understand it. Now it makes sense to me. He used to be a record collector.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
Now he's the record collector.
Oh my goodness! And I met Brian Coleman. You know Brian, yeah. And I mean, just some amazing people that I met through the whole Rock Against Racism,
Awesome.
program.
Yeah.
Even, and then having that connection with you. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's an amazing organization. Yeah.
We're almost finished.
I know. I was just looking at that and thinking, oh boy,
right?
This has been such a stimulating conversation, and I'm so excited. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm so excited that you just told me that Rock Against Racism still exists. And
yes,
I'm kind of amazed I didn't know that. And it's kind of telling that I didn't know that. And like, it speaks to communication and what we hear and all kinds of stuff, but I'm excited about that. And I'm actually, I noticed that Erin posted a link in the chat, and I'm totally going to go to that link and go check it out right away because I'm excited. I actually have some photos from long ago.
Oh,
yeah.
He would love that.
If I can find them, I'll have to look. So, but we are winding down, and I wanted to know if you want to invite Pacey to turn on his mic for a second. I don't know if we could, if you would want to do that.
Oh yes, please do.
Pacey, if you're interested, I would like to invite you.
Send him a message. Can someone send him a? Oh, there he is.
There he is. Hi.
Yeah.
There he is.
What's going on? My favorite people in the whole world are here talking about the archive and everything.
Here we are.
Text
talking about you.
I need to jump in. What's going on, everybody? I'm so glad to be here. I'm sorry I'm late, but yeah, it's we're excited to have a video in this festival that's coming up. So, and we have a huge panel. You've already heard. I'm not going to go over it, but
I'm very excited about it.
It's really cool too.
So, what date does the festival start, guys?
It's going to be this coming Saturday, October 3rd. We're looking at starting in the later part of the afternoon, and then we just flow into the evening and just have a great time.
Cool.
Yep.
And yeah, go on, Pacey.
They're going to be showing the Rock Against Racism rockumentary, which was the battle video outside of Madison Park High School in 1985, which is like this iconic video that's in the collection. It's Rebe Garofalo, it's Jose Masso, a bunch of people started this anti-racist youth arts and culture and media program in 1979 in Boston, in Cambridge, actually. So this was a video.
Of course.
And so we're going to play the video, and we're going to have a panel talking about, well, you've heard it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but
I've heard it, but I want to hear it again. And I also want to tell people, like, very specifically, it's Saturday in the afternoon.
Correct.
And you can watch it on the Somerville Arts Council Facebook page.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And we will post links on
Okay.
Saturday as well,
Okay.
and make sure that we're helping to boost your signal on that. It's
Thank
because
you.
it sounds like a really remarkable and exceptional project that you have really pulled off. This is a masterpiece, this event.
like it's the Mass Hip Hop Archive, and it's UMass Archives doing like good community archiving work and like giving it back to the community, which is
It's just fantastic.
kind of what
Fantastic. Look
public
at
university
things
should do.
working. Yes, look at the system working.
Yes.
what I'm saying, right?
This
Yes.
is very exciting. Once in a while, you
Yes.
get to feel really good about it. This is
And
really cool.
In all this,
Yes. And what I love is that Rebe is from Somerville, right? And to me, that's like, this is something he started or was
Yeah.
involved in, and here we get to bring it back to Somerville. So
Amazing.
yes.
Amazing. I love it. It's very cool.
very cool. Thank you for
Oh.
signal boosting us, and like
Sure.
all available.
You got it.
This is the other thing, like public archives means it's publicly available. So like this material is community generated and community available. So that's the whole mission of the archive, is to make it
That's very, very cool. Well, we'll
as
make
much as we
sure.
can.
Yeah, make sure to get us those links, my friend.
I will.
And we will share and share, because that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's the whole point,
Yep.
to build each other up.
I can't believe it's JJ and Yvette. It's two of my favorite people. Calling me to get on a Zoom.
Right on,
We
Pacey.
made it to the future, folks.
Here we are. Here we are. And it's as dystopian as Ray
Right.
Bradbury ever said it would be. Yep. And on that happy note, I'm wishing you both enormous success in what I know is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to tune in. Will it be something that people can watch if they can't watch the whole thing in real time? Will it be available? You said it'll be on YouTube afterwards?
Yes, we'll get it to
Okay.
you, working with Somerville Arts Council, and we'll get it out there. And that is the best part about this. It's all going to be recorded, and it will be available, on social media.
Yeah. So see, there's a plus.
And
There's
it's
a
all
plus
going
to
into the
going
archive too.
virtual.
What?
We're going to try and put it in the archive.
Can you imagine that?
I
That is
love it.
spectacular. Thank you.
It is.
And for all the artists, like I said earlier, that get that chance.
You
Really
are
have-
spectacular. You are spectacular. Thanks, guys.
I don't know where she is. Both of you, thank you for calling me.
Thank you, Pacey.
Love you, Pace.
Love you all.
Yvette, thank you. Thank you, Yvette, for a really stimulating and amazing conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you all later. Have a good night.